Where's everyone going? Bingo?
This might be the best musical track in this game. I really like how this sounds. It's really nice and groovy.
Yeah.
Like the kind of ambient creepiness. And it's one of those, it's so good in combination with when you finally get spotted. The Matalo! Once like this, and then the music, then it really picks up.
Yeah, they have a really good transition there. Ding! I hate that frickin' room.
So yeah, I'm almost out, shit, of, let's see.
Killer 7, yeah. So, one of my friends, he's going to school in Eugene, much like you did.
Yeah. So, here's funny. You can see this whole thing. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's all good.
But you can see this whole thing. There's no way to avoid that. Like, you can't walk around it. Once you go across the room, you get auto-caught.
Yeah, actually, if you can hug the wall and get that flash grenade before you trigger this, but you have to be super careful. So anyway, yeah, my friend's going to school in Eugene, much like you did. And now, what did you go there for again?
I have a double major in film and art.
So that's a good major. He's going to school specifically for game design. Which, you know, I find awesome and kind of scary at the same time, because he's mentioned that some of his classmates that he's become close with in his courses have like a lot of, they have like a really ambitious idea they want to tackle, but they're talking like it's like the first thing they want to do when they graduate is they want to make this. First thing I'm thinking is that's a stupid idea. The last thing you want to do is take your most ambitious project you've got in mind and try and make that happen immediately out of school.
You need to be in game jams and make small stuff for years.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to, I told him, it's like, the thing you want to do is you want to take a single gameplay element that you've seen done and try and reinvent it, or take a single element and make something out of that.
What you want to do at first is not make an original game, and, well, this is one of those things, because
or, like, draw inspiration from stuff. Don't try and take things...
Speaking of, and I will say, my art focus is, I do a lot of digital art, which does involve programming. Game design as a study program, not like generally a great idea, because it's really limited, and you can get that from other programs, and you're way more like applicable to other things. Like, game design is either better, like, depending on what you want to do, you should either go digital art, like what I have, or you should go into programming.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like, digital art, you can take, like, programming in digital art. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah. Well,
so let's see, I think I remember, if I'm remembering correctly, I think we killed the Gordor in one hit last time.
Oh, with that? Yeah, I think we did. Oh, you missed. But, yeah, like, he was explaining their idea was, it's a game that's like an open-world Skyrim-esque game.
That is such a bad idea for your first game.
I said, like, you don't want to...
too ambitious.
Exactly, that's what I keep saying, but at the same time, here's where things get even more ambitious. Your character progressively ages, and the premise is...
So basically your friend is Peter Molyneux, and he wants to make Fable.
Well, no, my friend's classmates...
Or your friend's classmates, they're Peter Molyneux.
But...
oh, that laugh is so good! That's such a good creepy laugh.
It is, indeed. Not only do they want that, but they want it... Your character will eventually die. And the whole thing is, you need to make sure that you have children, and then once your character dies, you take up the role of your child after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great idea, except for one thing. If the game, I asked, is it going to continue like that, like the process, so it can technically never end? He's like, yeah, that was the idea. It's like, okay, that's a terrible idea, because what you're saying is you can go through like 8 generations and have nothing technologically changed.
That's,
you have to build a
that's
progressive...
nothing compared to Rogue Legacy.
Yeah,
Rogue Legacy, where hey, I have 400 generations and it's the same world.
exactly. But when they're talking like Skyrim-esque kind of setup, it's like you really need to have a progressive system of like time progression while you do this.
That's the kind of thing like a setup like that could work if your engine. By the way, I keep going around this because I want to say this is the first time we've encountered these dudes. Which is, ironically, I think they're probably the least interesting of all the, Plagas.
There is one note I will make on that, is you can technically, if I remember right, kill the body of, like, the host, and then they will actually break free of it and run after you.
No, they do usually if you just deal a lot of damage, too.
But,
The thing I'm running into now is I think he's not doing it because I'm dealing enough damage.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna be running around.
Yep. But yeah, I tried to explain to him, like, it's like you need to really try and push for people that you want to, continue to work with.
Because it's like, what engine are they making? Because put it like this, you could come up with a decent concept resembling that if you were, like, doing it in, like, RPG Maker, or, like, an easy 2D engine, and you were using, like, kind of,
yeah, they want to do
old
full
school
3D.
sprite based. Okay, no!
Yeah, exactly.
They want to make a game that requires, like, a team. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, and on top of that, I said, even if you were to get the okay to make that from, a publisher, like, if you were to take it...
Well, yeah, like, they're gonna shop around to publishers of... Okay, here's the thing. We want a lot of money. We have no real-world experience.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. It's like, even if they did take the idea from Premise right then, the way the contract would most likely be written, because you guys are a no-name, the IP, if successful, would stay with them, not you.
That's even going to the point of you're
pretty much selling your idea.
That's giving them too much credit already.
Well, right. Like, what it comes down to is basically, anybody that is willing to assist in making it is going to take full control over it. All you'll get credited for was coming up with the premise. If that. I mean, basically you'd be selling the idea to a bigger name, is what it would come down to. Because they would end up with full creative control over it, and that's not something they seem like they would want.
So I want to point out, this is a good section, because that last
those
room,
eyes.
They introduce this enemy type for the first time, and in this room, there's always 2 guys that pop those to show them off.
Yeah. So I never did a count, but now that you mention it, yeah.
Well, it's a really good intro for him.
You might want to heal.
Yeah.
Use an egg. Or that. Whatever.
I was trying to burn off rifle ammo, so...
Hey, you killed the body. Yeah, I told him straight up, too. It's like, you guys need to, like, refine your capabilities before you jump into that. You guys need to work on 2D stuff.
Or, if they really wanted to do something like that, do a mod. You could mod Skyrim. Like,
actually,
that's a much more feasible direction if you wanted to take it that way.
That's very true, yeah. Actually, not to mention it, there have been some really solid, like, Oblivion mods that I thought were absolutely...
Oh, well, there's,
amazing.
goddamn, what is the mod? There's a mod somebody did...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they always come through stupid. I hate these guys. There's a mod somebody did for, that door's gonna open in a second. Yeah, there we go. For, Skyrim, that is, like, a full game mod.
Yeah.
And it's one guy did it.
See, like, that alone is ambitious. I mean, and that shows that you have coding skill.
Well, yeah, that was the point. He said he did it, like, as basically a resume.
Yeah, I mean... I think that's sufficient. So now, I don't know if you're familiar with any of this. I'm curious on this note. Are you familiar with how, like, game directors get chosen, like, how they end up in that position?
It really, really, really depends.
I was under that assumption, because I know, like...
Well, it's kind of like, it's situational to the point of there's not really, like, a straight answer.
Yeah. So, Like, how do you... Like, you don't apply for that, of course. It's like...
Yeah, no, it's just all internal.
Yeah, so I'm willing to bet it's probably
It's all internal, it's a lot of politics, it's a lot of, who's got a big name we can attach to this.
Ooh, and rock, paper, scissors, I bet. Because, I mean, did it just fucking die on its own?
I kind of feel like it, yeah, because I thought it was alive. I didn't think it was dead.
It totally was, and besides, it would have dissipated faster than that. Like, you just turned around and it flipped over. Whatever.
This is what I have ammo with. This is a really short section.
Yeah, he's got the face mask. See, here they give you a fucking rocket launcher.
So yeah, here's the problem. They give you a rocket launcher. There's no way in hell we can fit a rocket launcher in our inventory.
Yeah, no.
So we are going to need to sell some stuff.
I've straight up burnt ammo here just to get stuff out of that.
Well, because there we go.
Oh, on the stairs makes it even better.
I can't remember because it's one of those, you can come, because this is where you come back, like, towards for the Broken Butterfly. And so I know we come through this area again once we've got, spoilers, Ashley with us again. And, I don't know if, like, from a gameplay perspective, if you break the glass, if that despawns the rocket launcher. I'm guessing probably not, because it's like, yeah, there's no way in hell we can make room for that right now.
No.
Well...
actually... Challenge accepted.
Because the rocket launcher is the only really thing I care about in that.
Yeah, and you can get rid of the yellow herb and move around it. Gosh, it'd be a tight fit.
It won't fit.
It's three blocks.
It's not gonna
3
fit.
blocks, isn't it? 3 blocks tall, or is it 2 blocks?
Yeah, it's too big.
It's not gonna do it. No.
See, because there's a merchant in the next room, so if we went by and sold something... Because here's my thing, I don't really need we don't need it.
No, we don't.
Normally, I get the rocket launcher to sell. I never use it. And... Yeah,
I've used it to burn through bosses
I don't
quick.
need to sell it, and I don't want to kill any boss with the rocket... See, I never... I'm too stingy.
See, I do that, like, I never do that on my first runs. I've never done that with my first playthrough. But when I'm doing, like, my second runs, like, if I'm trying to see if I can beat my time kind of thing, I'll like, pick up the freebies or maybe buy one just so I can, like, instantly get rid of the boss and save myself trouble to cut down on time. But that's just a preference, really. I mean, you know.
This is such a... Like, this cutscene obviously needs to happen at some point. This is the dumbest place for this cutscene to happen.
I love this.
Because the merchant is 10 feet away. And also because the framing of this cutscene, it makes it really apparent that Leon can see everything that's going on.
Also,
And just...
he's straight up, there's no way he'd be able to speak. Because that just went straight up the middle of his chest. He's already dead at that point. There is no screaming. There is no squirming on the ground. Just dead.
Sadler's big ol' penis. Just big ol' spike penis.
Yeah, because it comes out from the front too. It's like, heh.
Now that I have the sample, you serve me no purpose. Sadler! My boy.
I am really sad that this dude I knew for like a couple hours is dead.
Right? Actually, he's still alive.
Stay with me, Lois.
This is still the thing of, like, when you do a story where the main character can pretty much be killed at any point, and part of the eventual twist is that, okay, yeah, we needed you alive for a reason, like, then, you know, eventually those events do, okay, fine, I guess we have to kill the main character anyway. And, like, because that's a situation of, like, there's no reason Leon needs to be alive for the story to happen. The only possible part that works is if it's Ashley. And if she's going to be corrupted either way, it really doesn't matter if Leon gets it.
Yeah.
And it's also clear that maybe it's like a special strain of Plaga or something, that you don't necessarily get controlled 100% if you get a Plaga. Because, like, look at Krauser. Krauser is, like, definitely has his own angle. He's not a slave of Sadler.
Right.
Your plan is fucking stupid, Sadler.
Yeah, I can see where the plan
Get it
was.
together.
But...
Yeah, so that chapter was like... Yeah, that entire chapter was, like, 3 rooms.
Sweet. That's a quick chapter, too, though.
Yeah, that's a really fast chapter. I forgot how fast that one was.
Yeah, well, I guess the next chapter, next time.